Albert thought the nightmare ended when the train doors opened. But something had already followed him home. No one strange. No one sitting beside him. Everyone who got on looked normal. And then he saw her in the far corner of the car. Same spot from the first 2 nights was the girl in the red windbreaker, head bowed, standing still, just like the last 2 days. Albert stared. There's one question that Albert still never figured out to this day. Was it the same spirit as the one who sat next to him and licked his face? The one who sat beside him was wearing different clothes. But could it be the same entity? Or were there 2 separate entities that night? He never figured this out. But he feels like they were not the same. Entity train eventually rolled into the final station where everyone had to get off and transferred to the opposite platform. Albert stood up. So did the others. He shuffled toward the door but glanced back. The girl, she was still standing in there. She wasn't getting off. And then, as if sensing his gaze, she began to slowly raise her head. Albert immediately turned away. He didn't wait to see her face, because deep down, he knew he shouldn't look. The next morning, Albert noticed something strange. The left side of his face. The same spot where he felt the numbness the night before had broken out into a rash. It wasn't severe at first, just some redness and irritation, but no matter what creams or ointments he tried, it stuck around. It took him a full month to get it resolved. But after that night, Albert stopped sitting in his usual spot. Anytime he had to work late and catch the last train home, he made sure to pick a car with more people in it. He stayed near the middle of the train. So what do you guys think happened here? To Albert? Was he just working so much that he was seeing things on the train? Or do you think the girl in the red was a lingering spirit? What about the one that sat next to him with the long tongue? Do you think they were the same spirit? Or did he come across 2 different spirits that night? Let us know what you think in the comments below. All right, now, as promised, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the beliefs surrounding the third eye in Chinese culture. First of all, what does Yum Yuern Ahn even translate to? In English, literal translation is yin-yang eyes, which means the ability to see both worlds, the living as well as the world of the dead, Yum, meaning people with these eyes can see ghosts, spirits, or even in some cases other supernatural beings that were never human to begin with. It's like having a permanent sixth sense. The thing with these eyes is that it's not always active, but it's always present, meaning the person doesn't constantly see spirits 24/7. It goes a lot deeper than that. People with Yum Yuern Ahn carry the ability to see into the world of the dead at all times. But what they see and how clearly they can see it depends on many other factors. Even among people with these eyes, the intensity and clarity of how they perceive the spirits ranges from person to person, and it's dependent on a bunch of other factors as well. According to belief, there are said to be different levels or types of vision among people with the young. These can be broken down into 5 main categories, but it doesn't mean that you are either one or the other. It can be a mixture of all of these, depending on the situation and the person. The first one is visual sight. This one is the most rare. It's full body apparitions that look like. People's spirits are often indistinguishable from the living until something gives it away. For example, no shadow, no reflection, strange clothing, or the vacant frozen expression. People in this category only realize something is off after something unexplainable happens, like the figure vanishing into thin air. Then there's number 2, reflected sight. People in this category of Yum Yuern Ahn report sightings as more common in mirrors, glass water surfaces, or any reflective surface such as metal. So a spirit only appears when reflected, but not directly. Number 3 is peripheral sight. This is when the person sees a shadowy figure, but it's always at the corner of their eye. But when they turn to look at it directly, it's gone. Number 4 is energetic sensitivity. This is the feeling of being watched, sensing cold spots or sudden pressure, or feeling nausea. When entering certain places, many believe this is a more passive form of Yum Yuern Ahn, as it's more feeling than seeing. And then there's number 5, dream sight or sleep paralysis. Some people only see spirits in dreams or during episodes of sleep paralysis in Chinese culture. These are considered real encounters, not imagination. The dream world is seen as a bridge between yin and yang. The intensity of sightings also has factors that affect it. Here are a few examples. The time of the year during spirit-heavy festivals, like Ming, which is Tomb Sweeping Festival, and Yulan Deep, which is Hungry Ghost Month. You may already remember this one from some of my prior episodes, but during these 2 times of year, the veil between the world of the living and the dead are considered thinner. So those of Yuern Ahn often report stronger and more frequent encounters during these periods. Then there's also location. Certain places like hospitals or abandoned buildings, funeral parlors, old trees stairwells, or MTR tunnels are also believed to be places with higher amounts of Yumhi. The stronger the Yumhe, the more visible these spirits become to them. Yumhi could be described as negative energy. Then there's physical and emotional state. If a person is sick, weak, or emotionally drained, they're said to be more susceptible to seeing spirits. Their young energy, which is another word for their life force, is lower, making it easier for spirits to approach or be seen. And then there's age. Many say that this ability is stronger in childhood and gradually dulls with age, unless the person has a really strong Yum connection or spiritual sensitivity. These eyes aren't like a light switch that's permanently on. It's more like a sensor. There are conditions that can heighten or trigger the ability, but the sensitivity is always there in the background. For many who claim to have Yum Yuern Ahn, they also share that seeing spirits isn't constant. It's unpredictable. They never know when something will appear or how intense it will be. And that's part of what makes it so terrifying. Imagine walking into a normal crowded area with a lot of people, and out of nowhere, realizing someone on the platform has no feet, or that one of the people in the crowd has a gray, hollow face, and no one else seems to notice this. These aren't always dramatic full-body apparitions. Sometimes it's glimpses, distortions, or just subtle details that feel wrong. So can people with these eyes just turn it off? The simple answer is no. In most traditional beliefs, people of Yum Yuern Ahn can't just turn it off whenever they want to, but they can learn how to manage it, either through religious practices, spiritual mentorship, or just avoidance behaviors. Some people learn to dull their sensitivity. Some even stop seeing anything for years, but many report that it returns when they're sick or emotionally weak. So if you're Chinese, most likely you've heard, growing up, that if you ever do happen to see a spirit, it's usually better to pretend like you didn't see them at all. Most people that do have Yum Yuern Ahn very often agree on this, as well as it's a pretty consistent theme. You'll hear in Asia that you should never let a random spirit know you can see them. Do you know why that is? Because in Chinese and Hong Kong folklore, once a spirit knows you can see them, there's a bigger chance they might follow you, or worse, cling to you. Many people that do have Yum Yuern Ahn are taught often from childhood to just act normal when they do see something strange. Don't stare and don't react. Also, don't speak. Just look away and carry on. It's not about fear. It's because if the spirit does end up following you, it's most likely because they want something they might need help, finishing unresolved business, a final prayer or ritual to pass on, or simply to be noticed in more serious cases. They may even attach themselves to someone with weaker yang energy. We can probably spend hours diving even deeper into this topic, but this is pretty much a quick breakdown of the basics of what Yum Yuern Ahn really is. I hope you all found this as interesting as I did. Until we meet again next week for more scary stories from Asia.